All right, art students, welcome back. Welcome back. All right, so today's drawing is my camera froze for some strange reason. Today's drawing, I'm going to try to kill a couple birds with one stone, making sure my camera's working right. Um, Someone asked me about armor, drawing armor. So this is going to be kind of a request video. It's going to be a drawing video, request video at the same time. So a while back, somebody asked me to show them how to do armor. I did an armor one, but somebody else asked me to do an armor one. So, I can always do better. So I'm doing that. And somebody else asked me how to do metal. How would you draw metal? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this position. Then I'm going to put armor on this guy and show you how I would go about doing metal. So my camera froze again. Okay, for whatever strange reason. So yeah, without further ado, let me just draw this position real quick, and then I'm going to armor him, and I'm going to explain as I explain how I try to explain. So he's going to have his arm up. First of all, let me just do this real quick. Torso, and then we'll give it the little tuna can, waist. And a lot of times I may end up making it too long. I've noticed that a lot of times because I'm not really doing my measuring thing. But let me get this in here real quick. Hopefully he won't go off the page. It's too long right there. This over here. This right here. Put the shoulder right here. This part of the arm right here. It's going to be for the collarbone. Part here. Cannot shirk on that collar, that shoulder. And this knee. And that, what does that look like in the monitor? It looks okay. Now this arm is a little off, but I'm gonna put a big shield right here. So I'm gonna cover up all those mistakes. The same way I say you don't have to draw every muscle if you're gonna put clothes on a person. So let me bring this arm down. Collarbone, delt. And sword. Remember, with a hand, that whatever's going to rest on that palm, that thumb is going to come up and hold it, and the rest of the fingers are going to be behind the whatever, the blade or the handle or whatever you want here, and they're going to go down at an angle. I think the middle one's going to be the highest, and then they're going to go down at an angle and start being even shorter in length. Especially the baby fingers, you're just going to see just this little piece. You're going to see just this little piece of the baby finger. The next finger is going to be a little higher. This one's going to be the highest, And then you have this finger, which you're not going to see too much because the thumb covers it. So you're going to have that palm, that other part of the palm, and the thumb is going to be like that, covering it. So you make that whole hand, and then you just bend that wrist. However, it's appropriate to bend that wrist. Actually, I should have showed some of the back of the hand, a little twist of the hand. Instead of showing the whole front, should have showed some back. But that's okay. That's all right. It's about the armor. You can still be showing the palm of the hand when he's going to turn it and strike you. Maybe he wants to just show his sword. Sword costs him $29.95 at the Walmart. And I'll figure out what kind of sword I'm going to do in time. So this hand is going to be like this. Like this. You have this almost like a triangle. Almost like you're doing a triangle, and then you're going to have a little base for that triangle, and it's going to not be flat, it's going to be in like that, and then you're going to put your fingers in. 1, 2, 3, 4. That way you see the knuckles up here, and then you see the back of this part. I don't know what you call that part. So same thing, if I turn my hand this way, you'll see that part going back like this, and then those knuckles, and then the thumb is going to be tucked under, depending on how much you're seeing. You got to see the back of it. Determines how much thumb you're going to see. Since this thumb is going to be, since this hand is the opposite hand, your thumb is going to be back here, and you might not even see that part of the thumb. You're not going to see this. You may see just a bit down here, but you don't have to, because this is what's important. This, and then the knuckles, and then the fingers. And then this finger is going to be shorter than the second finger, and then they're going to go back at that angle. So it's got to be at an angle like this. Let me get a pencil so I can erase this. It's got to be like this. What am I doing? Yeah, I'm doing this. Like that. And then you go back with that little triangle, and if need be, you have to tuck that finger in here and then to that palm. That depends on how much you turn that. So again, this finger is going to be a little shorter. This finger is going to be longer. This one's going to be here, and this one's going to be here. And then you can do your knuckles and draw the veins going back if need be. As I said, because of that, you might not see the thumb. You might see a little bit of thumb. You may not. So it's all about the shapes. This is why I started my children's channel or kids channel. So I can go to the very beginning and show kids how to draw. Link is in the description. Nice little free plug for myself. I like the way I work that in there. So, but yeah, you know, if you're some of you guys are advanced, some of you guys are not advanced, and you know, if you feel that you need to go and, you know, do from the beginning, it wouldn't hurt, because it's not like drawing flowers and trees. It's actually drawing this, but going way back to the beginning. So as I say, I'm going to draw a shield, so I don't really need, you know, all of this, because I don't know what type of shield, but it's going to be a nice little shield, I guess. So that eliminates all of this goodness up in here. And again, like I say, if you're drawing clothes, you don't really need all of that extra stuff, because clothes is going to cover all that up. And I could have put his hand back a little bit, you know, could have put it up to make it more dramatic, but I'm not trying to get really dramatic here on this one. I am just trying to show you guys armor and metal, drawing metal. All right, so good enough. Now, we're starting out with the armor itself. Put this up, put that up. So, if you're going to draw armor, you have to figure out what century are you going to be in. Are you drawing like King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table type of armor? Are you drawing futuristic Armor. Now, your armor could be shaped any way you choose, depending on your design. But the one thing is, when you do armor, you have to have openings for stuff to move. Unless it's some kind of like Iron Man liquid armor. But again, what period are you drawing your armor from? So if I have gloves, if I have metal gloves, there's got to be a space between here so I can twist my wrist, because it can't be just one whole piece unless you're going to do some kind of, unknown metal twisting armor. But I'm not going to talk like that, because then I could just say, oh, all this is armor, one piece. No. So it's got to have the places for your joints to move. Like in your fingers, you have to have those little openings for your joints to move. So you would have to have like armor on top of here. It would be spaces right here for your fingers to bend, and there'd be an opening right there for your fingers to bend again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just come up with some armor. I may even look up online some old type armor and try to hook it up to be a little better. But yeah, we will see. We will see. Let me see if I can get a helmet first, just because. Hey, it's Snake Eyes. Comes down, and I'm just, this is just quick. This is not something I'm really putting thought into. I'm just trying to draw it. And I want to do this, and I'm going to leave an opening for his face, like right up in there. My hand is really cramping for some strange reason. So if this comes out on a Friday, you'll know why, because I couldn't do it anymore. So I'm going to take this over the edge, because if it's a helmet, it's not going to be skin tight on the face unless that's what you want. And since I have this line at the bottom, I'm going to put this line at the top, because it's armor. And maybe even give him a little spike. I don't. Then that changes the whole. Design. If I start putting spikes in somewhere, I'm gonna have to put spikes somewhere else. Where's my blue pencil with the eraser? So even around the neck, you're gonna have to have something, some kind of collar, some big collar, so that neck can turn. Right here, you're going to have an opening. So I'm going to give him some kind of nice breastplate, making it bigger than his body. Bringing it down to here. So right away, he's going to have this armor here. He's going to have this opening here and here. Again, right there. So this has got to be, just think of like the stormtroopers. They had that black leather right there. So I'm going to give this guy, okay, so it's going to raise up, just for comic book sake, kind of one of these little things to protect his shoulder whenever he raises his arm up. You can have a belt, because that's not going to really move too much. Just turn around his waist. Of course, the legs, you're going to have that opening. And something for the knee, and I'll give it like a little knee guard. Knee guard. there. Now a lot of places they'll give you like they put like one boot on the guy's metal. It's not gonna work unless you have plates that like shift, that can like shift over when you move, which would really restrain your movements. So as I said, I'm just covering this guy right now. I'll do some kind of little nice design to it later. Maybe when my hand like uncramps. Again, you're gonna have to have this. You're gonna have to have this opening. And again, as I say, it all depends on the year, century. Is it science fiction? Is it real life type of armor? I actually want to do something with this, just because, just give it a little oomph to it. Give it more little comic bookiness. Comic bookiness? Yeah, comic bookiness. And then just have this like armor or good ab stomach kind of armor. And then maybe take the design down here. So I can give him this big thick belt. And I can put those plates that I was saying that will actually move under one another when he bends or twists. So it stops here, and this is a whole nother piece right there. And then maybe cut some groove lines out to give him that cut look. Well, this could be like layers as well. Gotta have the chest. So if the chest is here, that center line has got to twist. So let's do this collarbone. I like that. That's kind of lame right there. Here is my good blue pencil. Something with an eraser. Why is this so long with no eraser? Did I use it and erase that much? It should be short like this if I've been using it. These things have really crappy erasers. I'm telling you, these checking pencils, I like them, but their erasers are no good. So I'm just giving him more shape to the more definition. And then some lines to make it like a halfway cool anyway. Separate these because they all four move. And I'm going to bring that in. Keeping it with the actual body shape. And because I got that, I don't know what that is, but it looks nice, so I'm gonna keep it there. Bring this out more. I'm going to put this in here, just the Colossus kind of muscle shape. And I'm going to have the legs, maybe just keep the legs like that and just have some definition for where the muscle would be. And get some kind of boots. since this could be straight, or this is not going to really flex or bend, do that. Protect that knee. And have a little line right here to make it a little tighter on his leg. Same thing here. And this is just going to be open or black or some kind of material. Mithril. And the shoe, well, I don't know. Let's just halfway. And then strap this on here. How did I do that? And strap that on there, or weld it on right there. I said I'll take this down here. Let's just put something, a bolt or something. So this would, if he lifted his leg, you'd have to have some way for this to go inside here or outside. Like you'd have to have it flaring out above that leg. Realistically, if you're being realistic. Now, if you're just doing comics and it doesn't really make a difference, then you do what you do. But since I'm seeing that realistically, I'm doing that so that armor can go into each other and not grind. And since this will not flex, if this is, say this is 2 inches, this has to be 2 inches. I can't make it like a half an inch like it flexed like the body will. So the shield, and I'm just doing this to give different ways to see how metal would actually go. So this would be like an underneath, and I put a little more detail in this in a minute when I ink it. The shield. Where's the center of the shield? So this is raised over here. The whole thing is raised, but you would see it over on this side. Yeah. And whatever, if I decided to put something in there. So the whole shield has kind of got that roundness like that. Just slightly, slight round. It's not flat. So the basic thing about armor is you have to have openings for the joints to move freely. That's going to be the thing. I really can't design armor for you because I don't know anything about your story or your timeline or your character. So you're going to have to look at what type of armor you want to design. But the main thing is it's got to work, you know, because people will chop you up with unless it's like a liquid armor like Iron Man, when it was like, what was that? When they fought the guy with the chin. I know it, but my brain is messed up. He came out suddenly. He just came out with a brand new armor where he was just doing all kind of crazy stuff. And I had a little problem with it, but I'm sure a lot of people did not have the problem. They're just like, wow, that's neat. That's Iron Man. He came up with this, new armor. So, you do what you do. Is your story. But some people might have a problem, and write in. If you're doing a book anyway, if you're just doing a character for yourself, then you're good to go. This diamond is going to sit up. As I say, it is kind of round. I don't know. Really don't need any design in there, to my knowledge anyway. This helmet is a little boring, but it was made for. And I'll take this off of the head. And these little knobs right here are to lift the helmet, like the little wheel that, will raise the helmet up. So we've got this sword ended right here, and I will just do a whatever. Little, what do you call that shape? Playing cards. Is that the clover? That's not a heart. I wanted the, anyway, spade shape. And then I will use something to draw this sword. At least he'll have a straight sword. Won't be all flicked. Take it in some. How about we remove everything so I can see where the sword is. So center is going to be about right here. It's not center. That's not center. That's what I was trying to do in the first place. So there. And go here, whatever. I could make it a more classy looking sword. If it doesn't hit his helmet. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that can go up. It's a phoenix sword. That could actually come out and in. Why am I trying to detail a sword? Because the armor is a little lame. So at least the sword can be tight. Yeah, anyway, nice sword, nice armor. There's something about this. I just want to put something that comes out. Like, I don't know, some wings or something that just, whatever. Anyway. So I'm going to ink this. I'm going to speed ink this. And then we're going to get going with the get-go as soon as I get something to eat. So got these. I'm just double checking again. Just double checking. Put something there. Just because I want to put something there. Yeah, so I'm going to speed draw this. Give him some heels. Because he's in the marsh there. Some nice boot heels so he can stomp on people. Just because. Yeah. All right. So, yeah. Go eat. And I'll be right back, which will be just an instant for you guys. So, that's what I got so far. All right, I am back. So what I want to do is a slow ink, but it's going to be a fast ink. But I'm going to use a really thin pen so I can get as much detail in it as I can. Because when you start to do metal, It's all about light and shadow. And let me ink this first, and then I'll come back and we'll discuss metal as seen in the mind of Brian. All right, fast motion ink. All right, so here you go with the ink lines. So let's pretend this is metal. Missed a couple lines. All right, if I miss any more, I'll find out when I start to do shadow, like these up here. I don't know what I'm gonna do about the hands. I guess they're gonna be gloves, I guess. As I say, you need a little joint for the fingers to move. All right, so the first thing about metal is, or the big thing about metal is, it is light and shadow. That's the main thing. Now this is like from the wisdom of Brian. This is not from somebody that's been like doing comics for like 40, 50 years. This is the wisdom of Brian. This is how I would attempt to do this. So when you think about metal, it's shiny. Most of the metal you see on comics is shiny. That leg is a little too short, but it's going back in the distance. So what I have is an example right here. This is a spoon. This is a spoon, shiny spoon. It could be just like this metal, unless it's like a matte black kind of metal or matte finish. But the one thing about this metal is it's going to reflect everything you see around it. If you see right here in the center, that right here, that's my light. And up here, that's my other light, my fluorescent light. So that's the thing about metal. It's going to reflect everything around it now, and it's going to be dark and it's going to be white. Now, unless you're painting it or doing color, then you can get away without some of the shadow because you're going to do it with color. Now you notice you have some deep blacks and you have some grays in here. Now that's going to be kind of hard to do if you're just doing an ink picture, so you have to stick with the blacks. So in order to have a piece of metal that is shiny, you're going to have more light than you are going to have shadow. So you're just going to do your basic shadow lines or your reflective lines. I'm not even going to say shadow lines, I'm going to reflective, because this will reflect everything. If this was outside, it would be reflecting the clouds, it would be reflecting the background, in the back, the rocks down here. So we're not going to go that far, but just have to remember it reflects. So let me get a cheap piece of paper. Cheap piece of paper? There is no such thing as a cheap piece of paper. And let's do this. This is like, say, this is a metal ball. Okay, so we know that this ball is round. It's round. So if I stood something up here, just set something up here, it's going to reflect on there and be rounded like that. So that's going to be like one of your reflection shadows. But the thing is, you have to know the, and not curvature, yeah, I guess you can say curvature of whatever you're reflecting, what it's reflecting off of. And I guess if I had something right here, it would probably go across there like that. Because this thing is round, well, actually, even when it go that high, it would probably go like that. And if I had something, let's just say this, and if it wasn't over, if it was on this side, you really wouldn't see too much of it because it would be reflecting over here. But if it was like in the center of it, you could do, it would be round. It would be round like this, probably covering this. Not probably, it would definitely be covering this. Now, if you were doing some penciling, shading, or whatever, then you can like make a lighter, darker to a lighter, which brings up the next point. Your light is going to be wherever your light is going to be, so you're going to have that lighted area. So even though this would make a shadow, it would be a lighter and probably a thinner shadow to show where that light is. So you could actually have this darker, if you're shading, darker here, and then kind of like fade out because that light is there. If that light is strong enough, it would break it apart completely. So that's going to be the thing about doing your armor. Let's get my blue pencil. Let's just say, okay, so this is going to be reflecting this, vice versa. So, and because it's round, it's going to kind of distort. It's going to distort whatever it's reflecting. If this was like really thick, it could still be thin. Or if this was really wide, this could still be thin here because it's going to distort because it's round. So if I'm putting shadow in, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to know where the light and dark is, because you have to, in every shape you have, regardless, you're going to be, if the light is here, you're going to have that natural darkness here or around here, depending on your light. So that's the first thing I'm going to do is say, okay, this is going to be dark down here, and it's probably going to be dark here. And then factor in the reflectiveness anyway, because it's going to be really reflecting this leg, the ground. So as I say, you really don't want to do that, but you're going to have to, the rim light, I would use that rim light. So if I have two separate pieces, I would bring this all the way in and leaving that rim light. That rim light is that light that's coming around from behind here or under here to give that little light right there. So this next piece, I would separate it like that, leaving that little rim light. Third piece, I would separate it, leaving that little rim light there. And remember that it's going around, so it's got to follow going around. And there, leaving that, and say, let's just say this is black. Give me a thick. Let's say wherever his joints are, I was going to make it black. Like real thick leather or something. Wherever his joints are, wherever it is exposed. And I think that maybe under the neck, could be under the neck, could be. It is now. And you want to do the wrists. Let's just do a line, a little thicker line under the wrist. So let's do this now. Understand, this is like the Brian thing. So we're going to have the shadow from here. A reflection from this. And you can give it a little curve to it to show that it is round. Maybe this reflecting right here. Part of it right here. My shadow, if I put my shadow, maybe I could put it, but it's going to be reflecting all of this, all of that. So I'm just going to put a line here with the head in mind, with that head in mind. My sword could go like right around here, curving down. And then maybe some more reflective something. And then maybe even just bring that line down like that. Now you in what's name, you see stuff like, you see this like this kind of, just to kind of give it that comic book reflective thing, but I'm not going to do that. So this head could be reflective. It could be just what am I saying? Distorted. Right there, along with this piece of the chest right here. And I'll try to ink this because I'm just doing this with pencil because I'm just kind of throwing lines up in here. This would be a shadow. I would naturally give this a shadow. And this, because it's coming in for the chest, all of this would be shadowed as well. Now even right here, I could have something like this from this part that's sticking out. Shadow here, because these parts are sticking above. Shadow here. Same thing here. I would, if I'm going to do a shadow, then I'm going to leave this light. If I'm not doing a shadow, I'm going to leave this shadow. So like, since this is a concave, I guess you could say, I would shadow that, and then, you know, just a piece of shadow maybe from that leg or the ground. I don't know why I curved it like that, but it can be done. Maybe just even that reflectiveness here. I'm just going to just throw that in like this. And then maybe because it's getting further away, you can just kind of fade it out. So we say if I did like this, I would do this, just to kind of fade it out. Maybe a reflective shadow right here from this boot. That can go into there. This leg could reflect off of this, giving it this. And remember, if I take it from the top, I'm going to leave a space from the bottom at the bottom. So it's right here to here. And it doesn't have to be just straight lines. It could be a wider line, and it could curve a little bit, open up maybe a little bit. Bring that a little closer. And because it's going further away, maybe it's going more to the edge or thinning out, tapering out. As I say, any kind of ground reflection. These I would make dark because I have that light. Yeah, dark, because this is light to dark. Maybe even something like this, and you can have something reflecting off of that, or the shoe. This could be reflecting off the top of the shoe. As I said, because this is closer to this, and this is further away, you can make this wider. Going to narrow to actually fade out. And just because as you just don't want to leave this all white, you can put a thin line, maybe from the ground, reflection from the ground, making it thicker here to thin, like that. And then just look and see what else you got. And then just figure out, like this shield could be reflecting, well, the sword is behind it. It could be reflecting whatever is over here. Or if you want to just get kind of creative with it, you can have a face in there of the person, you know, coming up with a sword or something about to attack him. And this is where they would just put like some crazy reflective line or some wavy lines in there to make it look, you know, like metal. But as I said, I'm not going to do that. It could reflect this black right here. Give me a good pen. Where else would I have black? Reflect that. The head, of course. The chin. As I say, this little black here. This could be shadow from under there. And because this is curved, let's see that hand. Could be part of that and part of this. Could reflect this black, which is going to be right there. So for the sake of time, I am going to speed this up and throw some reflections in there and ink it, because I could sit here and try to figure out where another reflection is going to come from. But as I say, for the sake of time, I want to do that, and then I'll throw some ink on there to see what I got. All right, so again, fast motion. All right, so I'm going to end it right here and show you a couple things that I did. And like I say, this is not something from someone that has been doing this for 20 years. This is just my take on doing armor and metal. So one of the things I went back with, I did it, but I did it with a fat pen. So you don't want, if you see a line in this spoon, whatever you see, let's see if I can get it close up on camera. I'll do this round part. It's not going to be a jagged line. These black lines are not going to be jagged. So you want to go back with your pen and kind of give a nice little even stroke to it, remembering the contour of the line. So since everything's going down, but remember the contour is going like this and like this. So when I put the shadow for the shield, I rounded it off. The same with this, I made it round. Now you don't want to feather something. If this is my shape, this is my shape right here, and I want to kind of make it fade out. You're not going to feather it like that. You're just going to kind of make it trail out like that. I hope you guys can see that. Where is it at? You want to make it trail out, not feather it like from the top, like the light is coming down, because this is metal. This is metal, so it's going to have a hard line coming around like that. And if you wanted to make it, like I say, if you wanted to make it trail out, you would just bring your lines out and have it kind of trail out, and that gives it kind of more of that little shiny look to it. And then I went back and then I did some line weight. You know, be careful that your line weight doesn't destroy your actual line art or your shadows. So, and I did the shield. I had no idea, so I just put a little reflective shadow in the shield of somebody coming up with a weapon. Now, when it's far away, when the guy's far away, it'll be kind of liney like this. I don't want to say blotchy, but it'll be liney like that. Now, the closer he gets, or the closer you get in metal, the more defined it's going to be. There's so much black in this room that you can't see what I'm saying. But if something was far away, it would be like this line work, like kind of like almost in a mist kind of. But the closer it gets to the spoon, you would be able to see, where is it? You'd be able to see it clearly. You see how it's kind of like faded here, and then it gets closer. You can actually, you'd be able to see the definition. So that would be the same thing with this. But these, because maybe like the ground here is reflecting here and it's close, so you're going to have that solid line, but you can have it trail out if you choose to, but just don't try to feather, you know, because that's not metal. Metal is always going to be smooth and so forth. And I didn't do these hands, but that's okay. So, and there's going to be a little shadow from this little whatever this guard here, and then a little bit from where the fingers bend. So yeah, if I colored this, then it could come out a lot better because I've got plenty of light sources, plenty of open light, so that if I did like a blue, light blue color or steel blue, you can still see it. And these are coming in, but still I can add just a little bit of shadow in here to show that it's not one piece, they're collapsing on each other. So, I mean, I could kind of like tinker around forever and find little bits and pieces to shadow, but there's a point where you overdo some line weight right here, and you got to say to yourself, okay, that's enough. I mean, I could have added more to the sword, but you know, yeah. So that is going to be it with this. I probably could say about 10, 11 more things, but I don't want to because I know this video is probably long. But yeah, as I say, because your metal is shiny, it's going to reflect everything. You know, my monitor, my stuff down here, where's my hand? My stuff down here on the desk, everything above, my ceiling light, my ceiling, the structure that is holding my camera itself, which is in between that circle of light there. And when I turn it, you see how it actually, what's the word I'm looking for? Deforms it. So if you have something that's curved like the spoon and you see it from the side, it's going to deform it. If you see it from the center, it's going to kind of be right. But, you know, you can change it any different direction and it's going to deform whatever it's reflecting. So just remember that whenever you're doing something with a curve on it, where is it seeing it from? It's going to deform it. So that's about as much of the vast knowledge as I have on this. So it's just a practice thing. Just draw some shapes, draw a few shapes. Or, I mean, if you can, you know, get something and put something, you know, next to it to see, you know, what it would look like. It's hard to have like a metal ball. And just start out small, do a glove or do an arm with metal and then see how you would reflect it. And then you just work up to doing it, and just when you finish it, just say, okay, what's near it? The shield is shadowing it, the sword is above it, you'd see it in the head, the arm is close to the other part of the arm is my arm. So you'd see this and that and that and this. So, but just don't overdo it. And then above all, have fun. So that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to try to get this up today, which doubt it. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. And don't forget about my kids channel. I'll leave the link in the description. Yeah, I've got a couple of viewers. Thank you for you guys. I think it's like 3 guys. So 3 people subscribed, and I want to thank you for that, because it has to start somewhere. It has to start somewhere, and you guys have started it by subscribing and watching. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And, you know, I just want to bless people. I just want people that have the opportunity to learn to draw that I didn't when I was young, and I started at a late age in my late 20s, mid 20s, before I actually found somebody or some things that actually could help me. And then I just had the time to practice and practice and practice and do what I do. So if you can start at an early age, by the time you hit 20, 30, you'll be a master. Okay, just don't forget who your teacher was. All right, I'll see you guys later because I'll be rambling. And yeah, see you in the next video.